This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So let us open our project, ZEPM underscore project. We have done the implementation for what? Two steps, get entity and get entity set. So as part of this get entity set only, we have seen order by class, so order by query option, and we have seen what select options, functionality. Okay. Now in the same get entity set, let us see a query option called as $top. $top. Okay. So this is used for retrieving. Okay. This $top will retrieve top n records. It will retrieve top n records. Okay. So here, if you open our function module, mappy underscore EPM underscore product underscore get list. Yeah, in this function model, you can see, if you see the signature of this function model, it contains one optional import parameters. Okay, max underscore rows, maximum number of lines of its. Okay, it is the optional parameter, so you may or may not pass the value. So when I execute this, suppose here I am not passing the value. When I execute, how many entries I am getting? 116 entries we are getting. 116 entries. Okay, suppose now I'll give this value as something. I'll give it as something 8. Okay, so when I execute, I got only what? 8 entries. Understood? So number of records to retrieve. First 8 records it is going to retrieve. Clear? So same functionality we can achieve by using our OData URL also. So this is the signature of the function module. So let me make the necessary changes. So I'll go to data provider extension class. What is the method we have to implement? Product set underscore get underscore entity set. So this is that we have to implement. So here a small change we have to do. 1 second. Yeah, here. Yeah, this is for select options. This is for select option. 1 second. Yeah, I'll do a slight change here. So let me remove all these things. This is for select option. So I'll remove all these things here. Check for the syntax error. No errors, done. Right. So here what we are doing is directly we are calling the function model where we are retrieving all the product details and we are looping that internal table and we are mapping it to the final internal table. So let me quickly test it. maintain the service. Yeah, so here this is my entity set. I am choosing the HTTP method as get. When I execute, yeah, I got what all the records I got all the records. Okay. Now in the same URL, here I'll say 1 second. Where you can see here we have a query option over $top. So I'll try to give this. Okay. So question mark $top equal to, I'll say something 5. Let me execute this. Done. So let's see whether I got only 5 records or not. So I gave the query option what? $top equal to 5. So if you scroll down, this is my first record, HTF 1000. Page down, HTF 1001, 1002, 1003, 1007, 1020. Okay, so what happened here? We are not getting only 5 records, we are getting the complete records because we have not done any implementation for that. Okay, so even though we are passing that query option, we have not written any logic related to that particular query option. So simple adjustment we need to do in the method product set underscore get underscore entity set. Yeah, so what you have to do, we have to read the value of that particular $top. So how to read it is, yesterday we have seen for order by, I think day before yesterday, we have seen for order by how to read that order by what information. Okay, so in the method signature, we have one parameter. Yes, scroll down. Yeah, we have one parameter IO underscore tech underscore request underscore context. It is an importing parameter which is the object of type ref to nothing but object of what an interface. Okay, so in this interface, day before yesterday, I think we have called a method called as get order by. Okay, to identify the order by fields dynamically, we have called that particular method. So let me double click on this interface. So in the same interface, you will have one getter method. So we have many getter methods here. Last day for yesterday we have seen what get order by. Okay. So if you scroll down, yeah, you can see we have one instance public method. What is that? Get underscore what top. Get underscore top system query option. What is the $top? What is the signature of this method? It's an instance method. Do we have any parameters for that? Yes. It returns me a value of type what? String it seems. It returns a value of type what? String. So let us call this particular method in our implementation. Yeah, here I'll say in the method implementation, I'll say read the value of what? $top query option. Read the value of what? $top query option. What is the return type of that particular method? String. So that's why let me declare a local string variable type what? String. Type string. Let us call the method. So we have to call that method of that interface now. What is the object we have in the parameter list? IO underscore tech underscore request context. If you double click on this interface, let me copy the interface name. This is the interface name. Yeah, here. I'll go to pattern, ABAP objects pattern, call method. What is that method? IO underscore tech underscore request underscore context. This is the interface. What is the method we need to call? Get underscore what? Top. I'll choose get underscore top. Done. It returns a string value. So I'll receive in my local string variable lv underscore what? Top. That's all. Okay. So once I get this value, I'll say if lv underscore top is not initial. Okay. If it is not initial, 1 second. Right. If it is not initial, what I have to do? I have to get the list of what? Top n products. Get the list of top n products. So I'll call this function model. What is the signature of the function model? It is having what? One optional import parameter. What is that? Max rows. Okay, max rows. So let me double click on this. Yeah, max rows. This is a field in that. This is a field. So I need to prepare. I need to prepare a work area of this type. If it is not initial, prepare work area for holding what? Value. For holding value for what? Max rows. So I'll say data w underscore data w underscore, let me give the name as bappy underscore epm underscore max underscore rows type what? So on. So bappy underscore epm underscore max rows, then w underscore bappy underscore epm underscore max underscore rows hyphen what is the field in this? Bappy max row. Bappy max row equal to what is that string variable? lv underscore what? Top. So I'm preparing that. Then I'm getting the list of what? Top n products. Get the list of what? Top n products. So here import becomes export. So exporting. What is the parameter name? Max underscore rows. Parameter name is what? It is under import section. While calling becomes export. So max underscore rows is equal to what is the work area we prepared? W underscore bappy underscore epm underscore max underscore what? Rows. That's all. Okay. Else what you have to do? Get the list of what? All the products. Get the list of all products. So what I have to do now? Again, I have to call the same function model, but I should not pass the value for what? Top. That is the only adjustment I have to do. That's it. And if then at the end, what you have to do? You have to loop the internal table and do it. So here I'll say if t underscore product underscore header, if t underscore product underscore header is not initial, we have to map and display it. Let me close this. Okay, so let me explain this. So when I'm sending the request, I may or may not send the value for what? Dollar top. Okay, so what I am doing here initially, I'm trying to read the value of what? A dollar top query option. In case if you're passing, I'll get that value in my local variable lv underscore top. So if it is not initial, what I have to do? I have to retrieve only those many number of products. No? So I'm just preparing the appropriate work area for the function model parameter. I'm passing it. Else, if I'm not passing the dollar top query option value, I have to retrieve what? All the products. So how do you retrieve all the products? We should not pass any value for what? Top max rows. Here I am passing the values for what? Max. That is a simple adjustment. So execute. Done. I'll regenerate the runtime artifacts. Yeah, they are regenerated. Let's maintain it. So this is a service. I'll click on the gateway client. I'll choose entity set is what? We have only one entity set, product set. Done. Then I'll go to add URI option. I'll go for a dollar top. Dollar top equal to, let me say something 3. Okay, so I'm passing the value for what? Dollar top query option. So when I execute, done, it is stopping in that method. So I'm trying to read the value of what? Top query option. How do you read it? By calling the method what? Get underscore top. So as of now lv underscore top is blank. I got, what is the value? I got 3. So if it is not initial, I'm preparing that work area for holding that top value. Done. Then I'm calling the function module. So if you see this internal table, when I call this function model, how many records I got? Only 3 records. So when I execute, I'll get the values only for what? 3 products. So this is first value. What is that? HDFN what? HDFN 1000, right? HDFN 1000. Then if you scroll down, HDFN 1001. Then I got HDFN what? 1002. I got only 3 values. Suppose if I don't pass the value for dollar top, okay? Let me remove the top value of top here. I'll remove the value of top. When I execute, again it will stop there. So this time I'm not passing the value for LV and top. Okay. So when I call that method, when I say F6, okay, I didn't got anything. So it is initial. LV underscore top is initial. Control goes to else part where you're retrieving what? All the product details. So when I say F6, how many records I got? 116 records. It is going to return all the 116 records. Okay, so it is returning all the 116 records. That's all. It's a simple application for what? Dollar top. Yes, Venkatesh. You must have. You have to give question mark and dollar. If it is available in this list, I need not worry about the syntax. I can directly choose here. As of now, what I did initially, I've chosen I've chosen my entity set. Okay. So I'll click on what? Add URI option. Right? If I choose directly dollar top, automatically the question mark and dollar will come. It's a syntax. That is the way you have to send the request. Suppose I'll remove this question mark. I'll directly say dollar top equal to 2. Let me execute this. Hello, hello, hello. What I got here? What is the message I got here? What is saying? Not found. Resource not found. It is unable to recognize this particular thing. So it's a part of the syntax. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Hello.
tell me.
Sir, if you remove the code in entity set, so you can get the same. You can get the same record. So, what is the required code for this?
No, no, I didn't get you.
Sir,
1 second.
if you
One
remove
second.
the code,
You want me to remove the code? Huh? Which
yes,
code?
the get entity set that is the top related code, top row top.
Okay. Okay.
So then you can get the same number of records. You can get.
Man, here if I don't write the logic for dollar top, if I directly call this method, it will return all the products, now 116 products.
But in case
Okay.
of URL, so in case
Hmm.
of URL, so
Hmm.
if you mention the number of records equal to 3, then you
Hmm.
can get in the output you can get only for the 3 records.
Let us check it. Okay. What you want me to do is, you want me to remove the code for dollar top. Okay. And
Yes,
when I'm sending the request, you want to pass that dollar top value, right?
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
One second. Let me comment this part. One second. I commented it. So I've commented the logic for a dollar top. What I'm doing here, I'm not reading any top value. Directly I'm calling the function model. Okay, right? And I'm mapping it. Let me save it. Check for the syntax. You'll get what? All the records. Let me save it. Check for the syntax. So what happened was, one second. Done. Okay, so let me activate this part. Right. So here I'll choose product set. Okay, so first of all, I'm not giving any dollar top. Let me execute this. I'm not using any dollar top. I'm directly executing this. Right, so I got some response. So if you see the response here, what is the first product here? HTIFN 1000. HTIFN 1000. Let me say page down. I got HTIFN 1001, HTIFN 1002, HTIFN 1003, 1011. Like this, I'm getting all the list of products. Okay. Now
Okay.
here, here I will use what? Dollar top. Okay, let us go for 2 only. Dollar top equal to 2. Okay. So what is my expectation here? Since I am passing the dollar top value, I should get only 2 records. Okay. So when I execute, but I have not written any implementation for the dollar top. So when I execute, and I say hello. Okay. So I got the result. See the first product. First product is what? HTFN 1000. HTFN 1000. Next you got HTFN 1001, 1002. So what is happening here? Again, I'm getting what? All the records. So
Okay.
compulsory you have to write the logic. Compulsory you have to write the logic.
Mm,
Okay.
okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions, others? Can we call another raw data from our own data? No, not possible. See, first of all, what is the purpose of OData? To perform what? Crude operations. Can we call another OData from our own data? First of all, we don't have any mechanism to call like that. Okay. Your question should be, can we call one entity from another entity? That is possible, but not two different OData services. Not possible. Yeah. When some function is already written OData, why we have to call in another OData? Directly use it. First of all, whenever an OData service is developed, a URL will be available. Na? Okay, so you must know the URL. So once you know the URL, directly you can start consuming it. Why I need to call it from another OData? What is the meaning in that? Understood? You are saying that already one OData service is developed where some logic is there. Your agenda is what? You have to use it. How to use it? Every OData service will have what? A URL. You need to collect that URL and maintain that particular what service, or start consuming it from your UIF application. Is it clear, Ventesh? Already OData is there. Someone has developed it. Okay, some logic is there in that. Okay. See here, agenda is not to call the methods. First of all, you have to understand that we are not calling the methods. We are not calling the methods. That methods are getting executed internally. See, when I am maintaining, what you are saying is, we have a OData method. OData method is available inside what? Your implementation. Na? Your OData service will have the URL. Na? So if you know the URL, directly I can maintain it. First of all, I cannot call that methods inside another OData. Here, when you are maintaining also, when you are maintaining also, see this. I am giving the URL like this. Okay. Are we giving any method name here? Are we calling any method? No. We are just giving the URL. When I execute this, the tool will have the intelligence. The tool will have the intelligence which stub it has to execute. Are we passing any parameters here? We are not passing any parameters. So the tool will have the intelligence which stub it has to execute. In this case, it will execute what? Get underscore what? Entity set. That stub will internally execute which method? Product set underscore get underscore entity set. Understood? We are not creating the object for any class and we are not calling any method explicitly. That methods are getting executed what? Implicitly. So here what you are saying is already there is some logic written. Where is this logic written? Inside your OData service? Na? Every OData service will have what? URL. Okay. So as part of this OData service, you might have implemented stubs. Okay, implementing stubs is nothing but what? This stubs at the background will have what? Some methods. You might have implemented some methods. Okay. So your agenda is what? Whatever the logic is there in this method, you need to call it, right? So we cannot directly call these OData methods. You have to maintain the service. Means you need to get the URL of that service. In the URL, in the URL, you depending upon the request you send, SAP will decide which method it has to call. Suppose if I give like this entity set only, if I give, what happens? It executes a stub called as what? Get underscore what? Entity set. Okay, this get underscore entity set will internally invoke what method? Entity set. Sorry. Entity set underscore get underscore what? Product set underscore, yeah, this one, get entity set. This is a method it will call. Okay, product set underscore get underscore what? Entity set. Now suppose if I say URL slash what? Entity set. Okay, in the parenthesis I'll give some key property values. So now since I'm passing the parameter, it will have the intelligence which stub it has to execute. So it will execute a stub called as what? Get underscore what? Entity. Okay, again this stub will internally execute which method? Entity set underscore what? Underscore get underscore what? Entity. So here the thing you have to understand is we are not calling the methods. We cannot call that methods. Our job is only to use the service. Using the OData service is what? You have to maintain the what? Service. How do you maintain? By giving the URL. So same thing in your question also. Is it clear? Okay. Yes, already the logic is written in the methods. Okay, this is not a method of our own class, na? Okay, try to understand. This is not a method of our own class. Understood? That class got generated internally. Whenever we create the entity, whenever we generate the runtime artifacts, okay, whenever we generate the runtime artifacts, as part of the runtime artifacts, some classes are created. Some of the classes are what? Data provider extension class, model provider extension class, model provider class, and data provider class. As part of those classes, some methods are also generated automatically. When you are implementing the stuff, it takes a control to that method. We are implementing that method. So if it is our own class, what we will do, we'll create the object for the class, and using that object you might call the methods. But here we will never call these methods directly. We'll only send the URL. Okay, depending on the way you send the request, SAP will decide which stub it has to execute, and every stub internally is associated with what? A method. That method gets executed. So the answer for your question is, already there is some implementation available. Our agenda is what? To invoke that particular implementation. That implementation is part of what? A data product class. Na? The data product class is part of a OData service. Na? And that OData service will have a URL. Na? So we should know that URL and send the URL request. So depending on the way you send the request, SAP will decide which stub it has to execute. Done. So we have seen what? Reading single record, reading multiple records, reading specific number of products, and the select option functionality, and what else we have seen? Order by class. Okay. Now let me quickly cover this part also. Yeah, we have delete. We have the delete. Okay. So we have one dedicated function module for that. BAPI underscore EPM underscore product underscore what? Delete. Pappy underscore EPM underscore product underscore delete. So what is the purpose of this? It deletes a product. What is the signature of this? There is one mandatory. There is a mandatory import parameter. What is that? Product ID, EPM product ID. When I double click on this, so it is expecting a work area which is holding what? Product ID. Understood? So we need to prepare a work area which is holding the product ID, and based on product ID the key property in your entity na, so it is going to return that particular, sorry, it is going to delete that particular product. So what I'll do now is here, let me implement this. So how do you implement this? Right click on the what? Stub bot delete. Also what? Go to ABAP workbench operation product set. What is the here? Try to understand this concept. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to implement this stub. So I'll right click on the stub and I'll say go to ABAP workbench. It is automatically taking the control to which method? Product set underscore delete underscore what? Entity has not yet been implemented. Continue. Done. So it takes a control to that method. You need to redefine that particular method. What is the method? And redefine product set underscore delete underscore entity. I need to open it in editable mode. Put the cursor in this method and say what? Redefine. Redefine the method. Top right hand corner, we have the redefine button icon. I'll click on this. Done. So already there is some implementation available. I have not bothered about that existing implementation. We should not bother about that also. Our agenda is what? To implement your own code. Okay, so what you have to do now? I need to call that particular function model. What is the signature of that function model? It is holding one. It is having one mandatory importing parameter. Okay, it is having one mandatory importing parameter. So I need to prepare a work area of this type. First of all, acha. So if you observe here, what is that you have to pass? You have to pass the product ID. Na? So when I'm sending the request also, whichever product you want to delete, that product ID we have to pass it as an input parameter. In the URL also, we have to pass that particular input parameter. What is that input parameter? Product ID. So first what you have to do is, in the method implementation, I'll say read the product ID we need to read the product ID which is sent through what URL. Read the product ID sent through URL. So what is that? Already we have covered this parameter. What is the parameter which is going to carry that input values? We have seen this parameter already. IT underscore key underscore tab. When we have seen this parameter, when we are implementing the logic for what? Retrieving single product. At that time also we are passing the product ID as a parameter. Okay. So IT underscore key underscore tab. Type what? Internal table. Type internal table. Okay, so I need to prepare a work area of this type and read that. This internal table contains what fields? I think already we have seen this name and value pair. I think name and value. What are the fields here? Name and value. So here I'll say data w underscore key underscore itab like line of what is the parameter? It underscore key underscore what tab. I'm declaring a work area. Let me read that internal table. Read table. What is that? IT underscore key underscore tab into what? W underscore key underscore what? Tab. Okay, read table so and so. Anyhow, we have to pass only the key field. What is the key field in our case? Product ID. So with the key name equal to what is that? Product ID. With the key name equal to product ID. I'm interested only in the value. What is the other field? Value. Transporting what? Value. If read is successful, if size of bars is equal to 0, what I have to do? I need to call this function model now. Before calling any function model, you have to check the signature. What is the signature? It is expecting one mandatory importing parameter of type what? Work area. In this work area, what is the field name? Product underscore ID. Product underscore ID. So let me prepare the work area. Prepare work area for holding what? Product ID. So I'll say data w underscore product underscore ID. Okay, data w underscore product underscore ID. Type what? WP underscore EPM underscore product underscore ID. Done. Yeah, I'll say W underscore product underscore ID hyphen. What are the fields in this work area? What is the field name? Product underscore ID. Product underscore ID equal to where we are reading that product ID in this work area. Na? So what is that? W underscore key underscore itab hyphen what? Value. So done. That's it. Okay, so I'm preparing the work area. Then delete the product. So I need to call that particular function model backend underscore EPM underscore product underscore what? Delete. Product ID equal to what is the work area we prepared? W underscore what? Product underscore ID. That's all. Let me save it. Sorry, end it. Save it. Check for the syntax error. Activate. So very simple. We have to call, we should know how to delete the product. We should know how to delete the product. So since we have one dedicated function model for that, BAPI underscore EPM underscore product underscore delete, we have to check the signature of that function model. What is the signature of the function model? It is expecting one mandatory input parameter for holding the product ID. So whatever the product ID we are sending to the request URL, we have to read it. How do you read that input parameter sent to the URL? We have a dedicated parameter for that, it underscore key underscore tabs. I'm reading that into work area, and then I'm preparing that function model parameter work area, and then I'm passing. That's all. Let me activate this. Done. Let me regenerate the runtime artifacts. Let me try to execute. So before I execute, what I'll do is first let me try to retrieve the list of products so that I can collect one product ID and then delete it. So I got the list of products. Let me take one product ID randomly. I'll take one product ID randomly. I'll take this. What is this? HT-2001. HT-2001 is one of the product ID. So before I delete, this is my entity set. Let me check for what dollar count. Dollar count. Okay. What is the count I got here? What is the count? 116. Overall, how many products are there? 116 products are there. Now, I'll say product set. Try to understand. I'll give what? HT 2001. Remember, HT 2001 I'm giving. In the parentheses I'm giving. Okay. If I choose get method, nothing but get is for reading now. So it will execute which stop get entity, which will return me that particular product. So when I execute, yeah, I think the breakpoint is there in that method. I'll say F8. Yeah, I got the data. So what is that product I got? HTFN 2001 I got. Only one product I got. Only one product. Okay, so now what I'll do is observe carefully. Okay, this is a syntax I'm giving. Instead of using the HTTP method as get, I will use the HTTP method or delete. Okay, I will use the HTTP method delete. Am I clear? This is the URL I have to pass. Understood? So just like if you take our normal delete statement, if you want to delete a particular record from the table, what you'll say delete from database table where key field equal to so and so. You'll write the where class comparing with what key field, so that you'll delete only exactly that one record, exactly single record. Here also, I am passing that key property value. What is the key property in our entity? Product ID. So it will consider this value for product ID. And what is the HTTP method I am using? Delete. So since I am using the HTTP method delete, the tool will have the intelligence which stub it has to execute. What is the stub it has to execute? Delete stub. That delete stub will internally execute which method? Product set underscore delete underscore what? Entity. Okay. So see now when I execute, let's see what is the response it is going to return. When I execute, I'm executing. Hello. Good. What happened? I got some status code. What is this? 204. Status code is what? 204. It's in green color. Okay, I got in green color. Okay. It is not returning me any content. It's a blank content. So it might have deleted. Now, how do you confirm that? I'll say product set. Okay, earlier I had how many entries? 116 entries, and I'll choose dollar count. I'll say what execute. Hello. How much I got? 115. What is the meaning? It got what? Deleted. Now I'll choose one thing. Product set in the parenthesis. I'll say HT hyphen what? 2001. HT hyphen 2001. I'll choose a get method. Okay, so I'm trying to query. I'm choosing get method now. I'm trying to query a non-existing product. So when I execute, right? So it is stopping there. I'll say fetch. Hello. Good. What is that? I got 404. I got 404. What is this? Not found. Resource not found for the segment what product means what are the error? Sorry, what are the product ID I'm passing? That product ID is not available. That's why it is saying what 404. I'll do one thing. I'll give HTF and 2001. I'll choose delete. This is already deleted now. So I'm trying to delete a non-existing product. Earlier what happened when it is successfully deleted, I got some 202 I think. Okay, and I got in green color. Now I'm trying to delete a non-existing product. I'll choose execute. Again I got what response. What is that? 204. Understood? It is not giving me any error saying that it is not available, but I'm getting what? This response what 204. Am I clear here? So get is for reading single record or for reading what? Multiple records. Delete is for what? Deleting what? A specific record. It is used for deleting a specific record. So if I choose the count once again, I believe I'll get only 115. I got what? 115. Okay. So what we'll do is tomorrow we'll see what this method post and put. Post method and what put method. We'll understand the functionality of post and put. Any questions for today? Yesterday I gave an exercise. Anyone try? Sorry, I've shared the recording today morning only. Okay, so there was a problem in conversion, so it was delayed. So today morning I've shared it. Notes also I'll share it today. Okay, I've shared all the recordings except today's recording. I'll share it today, and notes also I'll send it by afternoon. Done? Any questions?
Sir.
How to delete more than one record? Yeah, Venkatesh, how to delete more than one record means you need to write the logic manually for that. Okay, going forward, there is a concept called as function imports. Okay, what is the purpose of that function import means? By using function imports, we can perform those operations which cannot be performed through CRUD operations. Okay, here what is the HTTP method I am using? Delete. Na? The delete HTTP method will always expect key property as what input. So key property means obviously you'll have only one record now. Suppose your requirement is you don't want to delete based on the key property. Okay, you want to delete and some other property. So some other property means there is a possibility of what more than existence of what more than one record. So I cannot do it by using these normal CRUD operations. Okay, there is a concept called as function imports. By using that function imports, you can achieve that. See here, somewhere we have a function import now, so that will come in the coming sessions. Function import. The operations which cannot be performed through normal CRUD operations can be performed by using a concept called as function import. Hope it's clear. Tomorrow class is there. Tomorrow elections are there, na? I'll do one thing. By afternoon, na, I'll communicate to all of them about tomorrow's class. Okay, even I'm also having some work tomorrow. Let me confirm. By afternoon, I'll send a mail. Otherwise, we can do one thing. Why to wait for the mail? We can do one thing. Uh, Today, I'll share all the recordings. That is today's recording and notes. I'll share it today. So utilize the next 2 3 days for practice. We'll have the next session on Monday directly. So don't wait for my mail. Directly, we'll have the class on Monday. Okay? Is it fine with everyone? I'll share that notes and recordings today. Okay, practice this for the next 2 3 days. We'll have the next class directly on Monday. Yeah, Devashish, you're asking something?
Yes, sir. Actually, I called you yesterday, but you did not pick my call.
Might be I'm busy. Yeah. You can
Sir,
call me
after
after the class. After the class, you call me.
okay, okay, sir.
Right. So I'll do one thing. Tomorrow we'll not have any class. How select option range will work? Already I covered now when it is yesterday. Yesterday I implemented the logic for select option. Na? Yeah, that I gave it as exercise. Na? You try it from your end. Okay, I'll share the notes. Recording already shared it. I'll share the notes. Try to do it. The next 2 3 days you try to do it. If you are unable to do it, anyhow, in the coming sessions, you'll get a similar kind of thing. Based on that, you can do it. But I want you people to try from your end. If you don't get it, I'll tell it. Okay. Right. So we'll have our next class on Monday directly. No class tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday. We'll have the next class directly on Monday. Okay. Sure. Then. So I'm winding up. Any other questions, others? Sure. Then. So I'm winding up. We'll meet again on Monday. Yeah, I'll share it today, Ventesh. I'll share it. Last 3 4 sessions, what are the notes, material is there, everything I'll share it today. Okay? Definitely I'll share it so that you can practice in the next 2 3 days. Okay, select option thing also I'll share. Based on that, you try to do it for multiple reviews, you'll definitely get it. Okay? Chalo. I'm winding off. We'll meet again on Monday.